Hi, hopefully you've enrolled on the right module. This is HPRO4007, Project Planning and Control. Session 1A, this is a module introduction. So I'm your tutor. Apologies for the cheesy picture on the right hand side. My name's Matt Ryder, or Matthew is my Sunday name. My email address across the top, matthew.ryder@company.ac.uk. And I'm a Senior Lecturer in Digital Skills and Project Management. I think it's important that we're doing a unique way of teaching at the moment with obviously lockdown and remote working, so hopefully everybody is well and is coping okay. Before I put resources onto this page, I wanted to kind of just do a few introductions just so it makes it a bit more personal. So those that don't know me, I'm Barrow born and bred. I've had nearly 20 years experience since leaving university in the IT industry, including project management and in education. Previously I've lectured at University of Central Lancashire, and I previously have worked at Furness College, and there's probably one or two of you in the group that I may have taught along the way. I recently joined UOC from UCLan in February, so I'm quite fresh to the role at UOC. I have a master's degree in Agile Leadership, which, if you've not heard of Agile before, Agile is a big initiative in project management at the moment, and 2 years ago I successfully got first in Agile. I've got PGC, which is my formal teaching qualification. Like yourselves, I achieved a degree, BSc Honours in Computing and Information Systems Design back in 2002. I've got the APMP qualification, Microsoft certified, Cisco certified, and outside of work I'm heavily involved in football, former player, so I've still got my coaching badges. A little bit of refereeing, but more recently I do a lot of football commentary for Bow FC on Radio Cymru. That's my sort of latest passion with football, until obviously it was all stopped. I like to do a lot of cycling, a lot of coast to coast, various different cycle activities around the Lake District. I play a bit of Crown Green Bowls in the summer. I love my hiking. Next year I'm planning on going to Everest, or certainly to Everest Base Camp if restrictions allow it to happen. I do ski occasionally, and I like to keep fit in the gym. So that's me on the right hand side with my daughter Alicia, one of the reasons why we've come to work. And that's me. What I'd like you to do, and it's a little bit difficult, normally I do this with large groups. We do a Game of Thrones, tribes and families activity. I usually issue out a flip chart paper and get into small groups and get you to collaborate and work together, and it gives me an opportunity as a tutor to take a step back and look at the characters in the classroom. It's a bit trickier when we're all working remotely, but what I'd like you to do is get a sheet of paper and a pen, dark tips for colours if you want to, and I want you to design your own shield, just like something like that you can see on the screen now. I want you to divide it into quadrants, and this is merely just to personalise it a little bit, rather than me look at a student number and your name, and one or two of you I've noticed I've uploaded a mugshot on the blackboard, just to create a little bit more of a human edge to it. So what I want you to do is, on the top left hand side, I want you to give me a grade 1 to 5, or a score of your ability of Microsoft Project. So if you're a complete novice, or you've never looked at Project before, give it a 0. Maybe if you're a novice, you've had a look at it but don't know much about it, maybe a 1. And if you feel that you're competent in Microsoft Project, maybe a 5. So I just want you in that top left hand quadrant to give me a score. This module is very heavy on Microsoft Project, so it gives me an indication of your skill level, so I can get you to the right places. Top right hand side, it's always nice to know a little bit more about your students, so tell me something interesting about yourself, any hobbies or interests. Bottom right hand side, I'm assuming you're all BAE Systems, but perhaps a job title in there, just so I know roughly your areas of work. Obviously your name across the strip at the bottom, and I'd like to do some virtual sessions with yourselves. I know the previous module I think you've done quite a lot of live lectures using Zoom. Now I'm a big believer in what's called flipped learning, so what I will do is I will give you some pre-recorded material, I'll give you some links to important resources, and then later on in the day or later on in the week we'll touch base with either a Skype, Zoom or Teams session where you can ask any questions, upload any information, any concerns, or I can explain what we're doing next. I kind of feel that when you're working digitally, sometimes having that flexibility is better than having a scheduled time slot, say 9 till 10 lecture, 11 till 12 of this exercise. I want to try and be flexible and give you the opportunity to either work all day on a Monday if you want to, or if you want to spread it out over the week a little bit and do a little bit here and then. By the end of the week, hopefully get all the tasks done and you're confident to move on. But if you can let me know your preference, I know there is issues with Microsoft Teams working on certain platforms and things, but if you can let me know your preferred platform, that would be great. So if you just jot that out on a sheet of paper, photograph the paper or scan it in if you've got a scanner, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a Padlet board on this page. You'll see it in the next session. Upload that picture to the board, and then at least it gives me something to look at and try to put names to faces, which I think is quite important when you're learning, particularly when you're working in these sort of circumstances. Okay, so note taking is very important. So while I've got some pre-recorded sessions, please take notes. Take strategic breaks. Because they're pre-recorded as well, you've got the option to hit the pause button and go have a brew, come back, or you may want to just watch the presentations in full and do the activities after. Also, you may not want to be tied into just working on the dedicated work day. You may want to be flexible and touch in and out of your studies. It's entirely up to yourselves. I'm open and flexible. I'll make sure that on a Monday all the required resources are there for you. But make use of your time. It's difficult. I'm myself, I'm homeschooling 3 children as well, so it's difficult to balance it sometimes with the demands of work and family. But just do your best, make it work for you. But what I would like you to do is please engage in the activities. I'll put the pre-recorded material on there and the resources. But if you can, contribute to the activities, post on the journals and messaging boards. The Padlet board that I'm going to show you, it'll make hopefully your learning journey a lot more interesting than like the old Open University model where you literally get given a PowerPoint to read and a paper to write, and it's just very impersonal. Okay, so the module title, as I said earlier, 4007 Project Planning and Control, and the aim of this module is to equip you with the practical skills and techniques that you will need as a project manager. And when used in conjunction with a wider appreciation of project management, the business environment and professional practice, they will enable you to develop into a highly effective project manager. We've got 4 learning outcomes, so you need to provide evidence in your assessed activity that equates to the 4 criteria here. So you need to explain the concepts of project planning and measuring progress, explain project scope and how it should be managed, create a schedule for a simple project and explain how it can be managed, explain how costs can be controlled on a project and be able to demonstrate the use of earned value management in the monitoring of costs. So it's quite a lot of area to cover in such a short space of time. I think we've got 6 weeks. We're planning on dividing the 2 assessments that you will do up during the time period accordingly, so we'll talk more about that as we progress in the module. But you're going to look at the stages of planning. We're going to look at network analysis, techniques for reducing project durations, the use of Microsoft Project in practical examples, and that's the key element that we're going to focus on in the first 2 or 3 weeks, looking at Microsoft Project and getting you comfortable using that application and knowing some of the tips and tricks that are out there. We're going to look at the impact of resources on schedules. We're going to look at risk and uncertainty management, project control, monitoring and reporting, earned value analysis, and project scope and managing change. So these are all the areas that will be embedded within all the material over the next few weeks. Okay. So this is what we would consider what's called the yin and yang of project management. So Gray and Larson in 2014 published a paper that talked about the technical and socio-cultural dimensions of the project management process. And as you can see on the left hand side, almost like a yin and yang. So the social cultural side of project management is your leadership, your problem solving, your teamwork, negotiations, understanding the politics and customer expectations. Some of which are quite soft, aren't they? Soft skills, but very important in project management. But then on the other side, you've got the technical aspects, understanding scope, work breakdown structures, scheduling, resource allocation, baseline budgets and status reports. And this particular module, 4007, focuses on that blue area, the technical areas of project management. Okay, so how the module is assessed. So you've got 2 assessments in this module. The first one will be after about 4 to 5 weeks. We'll decide probably this time next week exactly how we're going to do the assessments remotely. But basically you're going to do a 1-hour practical assessment using Microsoft Project. That assesses the learning outcomes 1, 2 and 4, and that assessment alone is worth 50% of the overall module. And the second assessment, which will be done right at the end, so the last 2 weeks of the programme we'll do some practicing on earned value management, and you will finish off the module with a 60-minute assessment looking at outcomes 1 and 3, and again that's the other 50%. So it's 2 very short assessments for this module. No assignment writing, which is always good. Okay, so the way the module is going to work, Blackboard will be your point of contact. So at the start of every week, the sessions will become live, and on there there'll be the scheme of work, which is all the activities, the resources, in a simple step-by-step structure. Some of it will be automated by myself, sometimes it will involve a little bit of independent learning, and there'll be sections where you're expected to contribute as well, whether it's writing on notepaper and uploading photographs or scanning in documents. Or it might be that we have blogs, journals, or possibly messaging boards that you can get involved in the discussion. There's a huge element of Microsoft Project, so hopefully you've all got Microsoft Project installed on your computers. If you haven't, let me know, and we'll look at alternative ways of getting you that material available. Within the Blackboard there'll be my contact details and some of my colleagues. There'll also be appointment times for virtual sessions as well. So what my plan is that once a week you'll have a one-to-one session with myself in a virtual environment, whether we use Zoom, Teams, Skype, just for your benefit. It's totally optional if you attend, but it's an opportunity for you to ask any questions or submit work or generally just have a chat, put the world to rights if necessary, but it just adds that little bit of a human element that I was quite conscious of when we're doing distance learning. Sometimes I've been in a session myself where you're so tempted just to hit the next button and you don't actually have any interaction with a tutor, and I think that's important for both of us, that we work together to get you through. That's the priority. Learn as much as you can in a short space of time and pass the assessment so you can progress. Okay, hopefully you're still with me. So that's the end of the simple introductions. If you get 5 minutes, if you don't mind creating yourself a shield and putting that information there and uploading that later on in the week. What I'd like you to do now on the Blackboard page is browse to the next section, which is the Session 1 Introduction to Planning, and I will then go through a series of slides on planning before we move on to Microsoft Project. Thanks for listening. I hope you find this course rewarding and informative. Hopefully you won't be like the second guy on the left there, fast asleep. And we can make use of this time while we can and hopefully do a good job. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you all soon.